Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 10 of the Indie Strings podcast. I'm your host, Kay. You can find me on Ravelry as Indie String, on Google Plus as Kay Johnston, and you can find this podcast on YouTube under Indie Strings or Kay Johnston, and Hipcast under Indie Strings, Vimeo as Indie Strings, and in iTunes under Indie Strings. So I'm pretty much trying to globally have one username so I don't forget. Because you know how that is these days. You have a name for your bank account, a name for your email, one for Ravelry, one for this, one for that. So once I get so many, I have to be consistent somewhere. And it's this. So welcome everyone that has decided to come join us this week, new and returning viewers. I hope you guys really enjoy the show and can grab some knitting and we can talk a little bit about what we're working on together. So I just wanted to start out and say happy Memorial Weekend to everyone in the United States, and I hope they're enjoying their long weekend. Today is Sunday. And unfortunately, I had to work today. Yeah, see, it was a downer. This week was kind of a downer, but we'll talk about that in Rants and Raves. Right now, we're going to talk about what I'm working on. So I worked quite a bit this week, so I didn't get much done on anything, which is like a reoccurring theme, right? I did get to work a little bit, so cannot complain. And I started working on my sweater again. So this is the Drifting Sweater pattern by Cecily Golick McDonald. I'm knitting it out of Little Red Bicycle Merino Silk yarn in the Spice Road colorway, and I really don't think she's dying anymore. I'm sorry, I apologize, but look for it on DStash if you really want some. She does have a board that's still somewhat active, so if you would really like something, you could go put in search of, and I suppose, there's lots of people that have it. You could probably get it. But anyways, last week, I had we had talked about me picking up this right here, and so I knit all of this. A few inches here. I'm knitting this on size 4s. So the big thing that I did in this pattern is you're supposed to use 2 needles throughout. And so I went down a needle size. So the pattern calls for 5s and 6s, and I couldn't get gauge. So I went down to 4s and supposedly 5s. My gauge on a 5 was too loose. And it's not that I don't like loose fabric, the airiness of fabric, but I don't particularly enjoy where my stitches are extremely uneven. Even when I blocked it, it still looked uneven, unfinished, and so I'm sticking with 1 needle size throughout because I really like the characteristics of this fabric with the size 4 needle. So that's a change to the pattern, but basically right now it's just straight knitting. The only qualm that I have, and it's not really a qualm, it's just that the rows are really long because you're knitting both the fronts and all the way through the back on the needles right now. So I probably have, it feels like as many as when you do the shoulders. I probably am crazy pants on that one, and I have less, but it really does feel like it. But with, I think it creates an interesting visual interest with the pattern because this is the sleeve right here, and you see that the alternating, so it's kind of almost striping, and then this is at an angle going down. So I'm very excited. I'm very happy with it, and I am really enjoying it. I'm trying to only knit on it when I have a little bit to knit, like more than 30 minutes so I can get a whole row done. But it's moving along nicely. And I'm very glad I'm alternating that. The one skin that was darker and lighter, and I really do like the effect. The camera is a little bit misleading. It does make it look like there's a very harsh distinction, but actually in person it looks more blended than it does to you guys. And I'm sorry about that, but I don't know if there's any way I can change that because I mostly record at night and natural lighting would be way better. But one day when I don't work anymore, oh, my dreams. Retirement. Don't worry, I only got 40, 50 years until that happens. Okay, so next up, I'm working on socks. So I showed these last week as well, and I wanted to talk a little bit more about these because I got some questions on the board. So I'm knitting a sock for my papa, my daddy, and I'm knitting it out of trucking yarn. Isn't it awesome? I love it. And last week I was like right here, and I finished the leg, did the heel flap, turned the heel, and now I'm doing the gusset decreases. So the questions that I got are, what pattern am I using? And the answer to that is kind of a mismatch. I've looked at doing socks so many times, and I have attempted to do them so many ways that I do understand the basic construction. So I just cast on, like for these, 72 stitches, and knit a cuff, knit a leg. And then I was like, hey, I gotta do a heel flap. So I looked up a heel flap in a reference book. Got that all done. Say, man, I gotta turn that heel. So in that same reference book, I looked up that again. And then I had to do the gusset, and I looked on YouTube for that. And then I'm just kind of following what's in my head now for this second pair of socks. So it's kind of a mismatch of reference materials and my brain. It's just a basic sock. Nothing craziness about it. So it's looking good. It's a little, I shouldn't say it's a little wide. I don't know why. Hand-knitted socks look wider than regular socks, and I think it's because regular socks are ribbing, although you don't notice it because it's at such a small gauge. And so the comment that I received on this sock is, my God, that's huge. I think it's going to be fine, and I hope it's not huge, but it's my dad, and if it's huge, he'll still wear it and not complain, because that's what daddies do best. So that's coming along nicely. I don't like to take it a lot of places until I get to a point on the gusset decreases that it's kind of, I can just read it and go. So now it's at a good place again. For a day or two, it kind of sat until I got the heel flap all the way done, turned the heel, and picked up the gusset. I like to do that when I'm at home, not in the car when I'm waiting for someone or I'm on a break. I don't know why. Probably because it's my second sock and I'm really scared I'm going to screw it up. Ooh, I'm way out of focus. There it goes. I'm really scared I'm going to screw it up, and so I kind of want to have availability to look at and look anything up. Look at my reference materials. Okay, and then the last thing I'm knitting on is the spiral cowl. And this is out of Handspun, which is 2F by hand. That was the dye of the fiber. Isn't it beautiful? I really love it. What are you going to say to me? Man, you didn't really work on this. I think I only got 2 or 3 rows on this last week. But it's because Brooke from End It Soul podcast is totally still going to let me join in to her Cal, even though I already cast on, because she's awesome. So I got that note and I was so excited. I'm like, I'm not working on it. So her Cal officially starts next month. So I'm going to put this back away so I can knit on it during her Cal. And awesomeness. So you will be not seeing this for a week or 2. And then we'll pick it back up so I can participate and knit along with the rest of her group. And her Cal is knit something with gifted yarn that you received as a present from someone. And she did say that inclusion of something you purchased with gift money or maybe a gift card is also acceptable. So yay, so we're going to put this on hold because I really want to participate with everyone else in the Cal and be able to chat and just join into that. So we'll wait until next month to finish that up. So next is spinning. I did get to spin this week, but only for about 5 minutes. I really, really enjoyed those 5 minutes. So after I get done tonight, I'm going to go spin, I think. It's one of those things, you know, I don't really realize how much I miss it until I do it, and then I'm like, dang it, I really missed that. It was so relaxing and enjoyable for that little bit of time. So I'm very excited. We're going to go again tonight, and hopefully we can move forward a little bit on my sweater spin that I kind of lost steam on. And I don't like to bounce back and forth and spinning. Like I don't have two things spinning at the same time. I only have one wheel and I try to spin one thing. So let's move on to enabling this week. And I didn't really get anything. I got a pre-order. But I got Botanical Knits. So I pre-ordered this. This book is from Elena Dacos, and she had a pre-order. It was more than a month ago for this book. And if you pre-ordered the book, you automatically got the digital version, which a ton of people have talked about, and it is amazing. It's one of the best digital books that I have ever seen. Great innovations. And just really made it easy for the user. It integrated a lot of things that I think people may have offhandedly say, hey, wouldn't that be cool, and then never took it anywhere. So like her table of contents is actual pictures of the knitted items, and then you can click on them and it automatically goes to that pattern. So there's a lot of embedded links. There's links to Ravelry. It's really great. If you haven't checked it out, then Knit Girls did an awesome review of it. And that's the one who talked the most in depth about what happened. And the Stockinette Zombies also did a really fabulous review of it. So go over and find that. And if you would like, and you like the patterns, I really suggest you buy the digital version. So what's new with the book? So to also entice you into a pre-order, she included a pattern that you only got when you pre-ordered the book. And that is this pattern right here. The Ivy Trellises hat. Isn't it so pretty? There's also, I'm going to, just give me 1 second, I'm going to flip it over. And that is 2 more pictures. So this motif is also on socks in the book and on mittens. The mittens really intrigue me. I do want to knit them quite a bit. So if you've done any of her patterns, she has a really great, almost watercolor design feature throughout all of her patterns. I really love it. I think it's super cute. And it's totally her signature style now. But for the pattern itself, it's on very nice heavy cardstock. It's a great, and it does fit into the book. Not perfectly, but I'm just folding it in and it only sticks out that much. So let's talk about the book a little bit. She did also include an awesome thing, which I'm going to talk about real quick. And because I'm a little kid at heart, she included stickers, and they make me so unbelievably happy. This is a fabulous idea. Her book's all about leaves. And so some of the things they say is like cast on now. And when you peel the sticker, okay, so I'm going to start to peel it off a little bit. You're going to see that I don't know if you can see it, but I'm peeling it off. Only this bottom part down here is sticky. This part up here isn't. And it's so that when you can stick it like you would a reference sticker. And so you can just tab it on the outside and find what you want. Awesome. So cute. Such a good idea. I'm so excited about it. I don't know why, but I love it. The cardstock is great. The pictures in this book are amazing. And they are, an identical to what is in the ebook. But just a really great quality book, heavy duty, and I really am happy. Really happy with the quality of the materials, the extras that were provided. It shipped and got here extremely quickly once she received the books in-house. So I would go over there and check her out. If you love that hat pattern, do not despair. She did say that she would put it in another upcoming publication. So there is going to be a chance in the future, if you did not pre-order the book, to get that hat pattern and be able to knit it up yourself. But I was such a good girl this week. I didn't get any clubs. I didn't order anything, and that is pretty amazing. Keep on that path, right? For at least another. Well, no. Well, I ordered something, but it was for a birthday present, so I don't think that counts. I'm not counting it anyways. All right. And 15 minutes and into the best part, the rants and raves, people. So this week was a bad week. I'm not going to lie. Not going to sugarcoat. It was just a downer week. It was busy season at work and everything seemed like it was going okay, and then some choices were made that I don't agree with, and things were presented in a very negative light, which basically just took all the steams out of everyone's sails, and then it just got really depressing. Come on, life's short. Let's be happy. Let's celebrate the victories, people, even the small ones. And so this week, since it was a bad week, I have this wonderful coworker who's really a bright side, glass half full kind of gal. She said, well, for every one bad thing that happens to us, we should do 3 nice things for ourselves. And it seemed like that's just what I needed to hear. She did some really nice things for me that week. There's been super nice comments on the board, and I don't know. It just seems like those little things really add up to make me realize that I'm a lucky person and a happy person, and I can't let the actions of others depress me. So now, since everyone helped perk me up and didn't even know it, they were just being their fabulous selves, and it's my 10th episode, 2 hands, jazz hands, we're going to do a giveaway. Oh. So what are we giving away today? We're going to do 2 prizes. So first thing we're going to give away is 3 skeins of silky wool. And this is almost like an eggplant. It's a super deep purple. And I have 3 skeins of this, and they do match perfectly. They're all the same dye lot. And this is a great summer yarn. At least I find it a great summer yarn. It's 175 meters per skein, and you're getting 3 of them. So that's quite a bit. You could do like a really nice shawl, or you could do a baby sweater, or, you know, something fabulous. Maybe something for yourself, or if you're, want to, give it to someone else. So this is one thing we're giving away. The royal we. And then I'm going to give away some of my handspun. So this is Becoming Art, and this is a merino bamboo blend. And this is a club colorway. And I forget the colorway name, I'm sorry. But it's about a worsted weight. I have to count yardage. It's around 200 yards, I think. Maybe it's only 175. It's around there. Enough to make a pair of mittens, a nice hat. It is super smooth. The bamboo almost feels like silk to me, especially when I spun it. It was a little slipperier than silk. But nice shine, and it's grays and blues with little thrown in hits of green. And I really like it a lot. And it's a 3-ply, so nice and bouncy and round. And so something I love to someone else, hopefully it'll make their day. So what do you have to do to enter? I'm gonna open up a topic on the RAV board, and you need to go and tell me what was the best part of your week last week. So something nice that you did for someone did for someone else, that someone did for you, or just like a bright spot in your week. So I'm going to open that up. 1 entry per person, please. And you must be a member of the Ravelry group to enter into the contest. We'll draw next week, and I'll get those sent out to those happy winners. So thank you, everyone. 10 episodes, super excited, and thanks for all the kind words. I really appreciate it. So sometimes I think got to try to get through this life together. Okay, whew, another drink. So what else happened this week? So here I am at work today. It's Sunday. I'm the only one there at this point. My boss worked for a few hours. Another coworker worked for a few hours. They left, and I had to work today because I can't work tomorrow because it's a holiday, but my daycare is closed. So I don't have daycare, so I have to stay home. But I can't, in busy season, miss a day. So I worked all day today, and my husband calls me up, and he's like, oh, when are you coming home? And it was noon, and I'm like, in 4 hours, 4 or 5 hours. It's only half the day here. He's like, okay, well, I'm with my buddy. And I'm like, okay. He's like, we just want to make sure you weren't going to want to have lunch with us. And I'm like, oh, well, that was really thoughtful, but no. So we hang up the phone, whatever. Kind of forget about it. You know how you get sucked into what you're doing? And so then he calls me like 2.5 hours later. And I'm like, hello? And there's this siren, this loud wail in the background. And you know those times in your life that time kind of slows down? My heart starts beating, butter, 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 pitter patter, pitter patter, pitter patter. And I'm like, oh my gosh, the sirens. Oh my gosh, did someone get hurt? Where are they? They were driving in the car. But that was 2.5 hours ago. Like my mind was just like thinking of all the possibilities. Someone was hurt. They were in a car accident. You know, are you okay? And he's laughing. He's like, what the hell is your problem? And I'm like, that sounds like a siren. He's like, oh, my buddy bought a new elk call. So we thought we would call you with it, and we would blow it over the phone to freak you out. Now, he didn't think that I was going to automatically assume that there was a catastrophe, but he kind of wanted me to make me kind of jump, you know? And then he goes, okay, well, this went horribly wrong. I didn't mean to freak you out that bad. I was like, it doesn't take much. When you're by yourself in a large office, everything is like silent except for the turning on and off of the air conditioning unit, and you're typing, and then all of a sudden someone calls you and you hear this screaming wail. It just freaked me right on out. The rest of the time I'm like, okay, everything's fine. Oh. And that's pretty much it. My daughter did 2 things this week that were hilarious. The first is my husband went and got us pop because we didn't have any in the house for a few days. And it's the weekend, and he's like, I really want to drink some pop tonight. I'm like, okay. So he went and got one, and he drinks Coke Zero, and I drink regular Coke. And my daughter is really trying to teach her how to share and how to be nice to people and polite. So my husband is unloading everything, and she goes, Mom, I got a present for you. And she looks at both of the bottles, and she goes, it's the red one. And she brings me over my Coke, and all I could think was, you know you drink too much Coke when your 4-year-old daughter knows that you drink the red one. I might need to cut back a little bit. Ooh. Oh. And then the second thing is I was getting her out of the bath tonight so we can brush our teeth and do the whole bed routine. And I peek my head in the bathroom because her dad gives her a bath. And I'm like, hey, sweetie, you ready to be done? And she goes, Manny, 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 which is from Ice Age. And so I said, you know what? I'm consistently mistaken for a woolly mammoth. And she goes, yeah, Manny. And I go, don't worry, it's not fat. It's fur. Anyone that is watching this that has watched Ice Age will know what I'm talking about. And you can laugh too. Because all I could think is, it also might be a good time to cut out the pop, not only because my daughter knows my brand by color, but also because she just likened me to a woolly mammoth. I could stand to lose 5 pounds. And I just laugh. Maybe it'll happen, maybe it won't. Sometimes I think I like myself too much because I'm not annoyed enough to change. Okay, so the last thing I have to talk about this week is the last few weeks I really apologize. I've totally forgot to mention what's on Jackie, our mannequin. I change it every week. You'd think that I would remember. Oh. So if you want to know, message me. But this week I wanted to talk about this because this is the first knitting project I ever did. That's right, people. So this is, I'm sorry, don't even remember the pattern. It was like 10 years ago. I do know it was made out of Royal Alpaca Grando, which is their bulky 100% alpaca. It is soft as kittens. Clouds, maybe. It's delicious. So it's two colors. You can't really see it. This one almost looks like a brown, but it's like a burgundy, and this is a nice bright red. And it's really simple. I did get the pattern out of somewhere. I don't remember what needle size. I wrote it on nothing. It's just a nice keyhole scarf. You can pull it through to layer. Isn't that pretty? So this is the funny story. So my sister's birthday, and my oldest sister, it was her birthday or Christmas or something, and I had to get her something, and I was like, my first project ever. I'm gonna knit for my big sister. So then I get it done, and I'm like, oh, it's not nice enough. This is perfectly fine. Now, years of giving me perspective and distance. See, I was quite the perfectionist, I guess, 10 years ago, because now I look at it and I think, it's soft as clouds, the color is great, she'd love it. So this has been sitting in my scarf drawer for almost 10 years, 8 years, however long I've been knitting, quite a long time. I've never worn it. So guess where this sucker's going? That's right, the gift giveaway bag, which is now full. I'm going to have to get a second bag, but that's a whole nother story. So I'm so excited. It's going right back into the gift bag. And I really wish you all could see it. So the things that I really hated about this when I knitted it were two things. I hated that join right there. Which now I look at it, I'm like, that's not so bad. Not so bad. I don't know what I was talking about. It's knit in 1x1 ribbing with that keyhole, which I also did not think that keyhole was nice enough. Now, there is a slight hiccup right up there, but I really don't think a non-knitter would notice it. Other than that, it's perfectly fine. My edges are a little bit wonky. But come on. It's the first thing I ever knit. My cast on is like, it's so tight. So much tighter than the rest of it. The rest of it can go, oh, that's where I cast on. Let's see what my, that's my cast off. And then, that's when I was a tight knitter. You know when you started knitting and you were just concentrated so hard, just like pull the yarn, like, I'm gonna get this perfect. And that would be the result, ladies and gentlemen. It's a pretty taunt, but again, it's just a scarf. Hi, heck yeah, I'm gonna put it on now. Be my bad self. But now that I have rambled for about 10 minutes about a scarf that I made 8 years ago that I never wore, nor never thought it was good enough to give away, now perspective tells me that this is a G-rated show. I can't say it, but you all know what I'm thinking. If they don't like it, they can't return it. I guess they could burn it. All right. Thank you everyone for watching. I hope you have a wonderful week. Please feel free to join the RAV group, especially if you want to enter the contest and talk about the one nice thing or the bright spot in your week last week. And we'll draw for that next week. You can find me again on Ravelry as Indie Strings, on Google Plus as Kay Johnston, and then you can find the episodes at YouTube, Vimeo, iTunes, and Hipcast. I hope you're all having a wonderful weekend and we get to see you soon. Have a great week. I almost said day. Then I thought night. See, I'm all messed up. But anyways, have a wonderful weekend and a week. Knit with some love, and we'll see you soon.